All right, everyone, settle in. Grab that blanket. Get comfortable, because we're about to delve into a period of history that, while often overshadowed by its dramatic predecessors and successors, was absolutely foundational. We're talking about the High Middle Ages. Forget the Dark Ages. Forget the grim survival stories. This, my friends, is where Europe started to breathe again. It's where the embers of progress, once thought extinguished, began to glow, then flicker, then truly ignite into a societal furnace that would reshape the continent. We're charting the course from roughly the year 1000 to the year 1300. 300 years. Think of it. 3 centuries of profound, almost dizzying change. What came before the early Middle Ages was a time of consolidation, of recovery from the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, of fending off persistent barbarian incursions. But by the turn of the millennium, something shifted. The invasions, those relentless waves of outsiders, had largely subsided. Europe, for the first time in a very long time, found a semblance of peace, a stability that allowed it to look inward, to build, to grow. And grow it did. Perhaps the most significant, the most utterly transformative trend of the High Middle Ages was the explosion of population. Imagine a continent, vast and green, still largely wild, but now, finally ready to be settled. From around the year 780, Europe had started to become more organized, more cohesive. The Carolingian Renaissance, a beacon of learning and culture in the preceding centuries, had already laid some intellectual groundwork. But now, with a burgeoning population, that intellectual curiosity began to blossom. The very first universities, those hallowed halls of learning that still define our pursuit of knowledge today, began to spring up. Bologna, Oxford, Paris, Salamanca, Cambridge, Medina. These weren't just names on a map. They were centers of intellectual gravity, attracting scholars and students, churning out new ideas, challenging old ones. This wasn't just about more people. It was about more hands. More hands to clear land, more hands to farm, more hands to build, more hands to think. What historian Charles Agounet famously called the Great Clearances began in earnest. Vast, ancient forests, marshes stretching for miles. These wild spaces that had dominated the European landscape for millennia started to recede. Peasants, driven by the need for land and the promise of a better life, pushed outward,